While I was planning for this trip, I asked a friend of mine from university who used to live in Kyoto for some of her recommended coffee shops. Although people often imagine authentic Japanese experiences when they think of Kyoto, such as matcha, and this is half true, it is also full of good coffee shops and bakeries. This was one of her recommendations, and we stopped by for a coffee and a blueberry muffin before heading to northern Kyoto. I like asking my friends for their personal favorites. I think it's such a fun way to explore new places. On the first day, I decided to focus on the areas I wanted to visit. So I went to the Kibune and Shimogamo areas, both of which are relatively close to one another. Kibune might be my absolute favorite place in all of Kyoto. I love mountainous areas with big, few hundred-year-old trees surrounding shrines, and streams with clear water and fallen leaves gently flowing along narrow roads. If I had the chance, I could watch it all day long. Kihune Shrine, a local shrine in the area, is dedicated to the god of water and rain. There is a spot where you can drink mountain water in the shrine, called sacred water. I think it has become quite rare to have accessible sacred water due to pollution and other reasons that have made the water undrinkable. We then headed to the Shimogamo area where we had a late lunch at a bakery that turned out to be all vegan. The cafe space of the bakery had no background music, but it was perfect for the place, as it created such a cozy and relaxing atmosphere. I had creamy turnip soup with various kinds of roasted vegetables, 2 types of bread, milk bread and country bread with figs inside, both fluffy and delicious, some homemade yogurt with citrus jam, and a cup of tea. We ended up grabbing some bread to take back to the hotel to enjoy the next morning. The second day started with bread that we had secured the day before. I had bread filled with curry paste, a Japanese classic, and a cornmeal and rosemary muffin with a hint of sweetness. They were both delicious, and we enjoyed them while watching the sunrise from the window of the room we were staying in. By the way, I have a slightly strange habit of enjoying bringing my own cutlery when I go out. My chopsticks, mug, and water bottle at the very least. On this trip though, I went a little too far and even brought my own plate. I love porcelain, but it's not exactly the best travel companion considering how fragile it is. So I made the logical decision to bring a wooden plate instead. There's just something about placing food on a plate that makes it look even more appealing. We mainly explored the areas around Gion, which are more accessible than northern Kyoto, where we had visited the day before, as they are closer to Kyoto Station. We, meaning my mom and I, walk a lot, especially when we travel, since every place we visited was within walking distance from one another. We ended up walking everywhere. Thankfully, it wasn't cold at all, so we really enjoyed it. I'd say the highlight of the second day was definitely the tea store we visited called Ippodo. It has a long history of selling high-quality tea, dating back to the 18th century. The night before, while looking at a map, I noticed that Ippodo was actually close to many of the places we were planning to visit. So I thought, why not just go there? My mom and I both love tea. I mean, we're in Kyoto. It will be a crime not to enjoy matcha. Going to Ippodo turned out to be spontaneous, yet one of the best decisions we made. Even though we had no idea, they happened to be hosting a free tasting day which they seem to do once a month, and we arrived on that exact day. We were lucky enough to try several of their green tea selections. They were so good that they quickly became souvenirs to take home and share with friends. There was a cafe space adjacent to the store where we enjoyed matcha and a Japanese confectionery. I chose one made with silky smooth red bean paste, topped with a little white bean paste, and I absolutely loved it. The staffs were very friendly and told us that they source these confectionaries daily from several local shops. Since they change depending on the season, it's always a surprise what will arrive at the store each day. I thought that was such a lovely idea, not just for the staffs, but also for those who come to enjoy tea. Kyoto has truly become a vegan paradise. There are temples that serve traditional Buddhist vegan meals, and in addition to that, many restaurants and coffee shops offer at least one vegan option on their menus. We stopped by another coffee shop recommended by a friend of mine when it started raining quite heavily. I had a matcha cookie topped with coconut flakes, which was delicious. The cafe had a cozy interior with a few plants, mostly pothos, some of which looked beautifully propagated. Sorry for geeking out about plants. There is something so refreshing about waking up early in the morning and visiting shrines. The sky is still a bit dark, but the sun is about to shine. Everything looks promising at that time of day. We explored Fushimi Inari Taisha Shrine, a shrine famous for its thousands of red gates, built with donations from worshippers not only in Kyoto, but from other parts of Japan as well. It feels grand to see so many gates, as they often represent entrances to the world of the gods. I think of shrines as places to recharge and reconnect with myself. Places I visit whenever I miss nature, greenery, and tranquility. I always feel refreshed afterwards, ready to start anew. What I like about this shrine is that it rests on Mount Inari, and yes, it's a mountain. Although it's a sacred mountain, anyone can climb it, and there are hiking trails. It took us about 2 hours to hike up and back down, and because it was early in the morning, the trails weren't too crowded, so we were able to enjoy both the hike and the surrounding nature. I'm not gonna lie, I ran out of breath a few times, but it was worth it. There's a cafe about a 5-minute walk from the shrine that offers vegan options on their menu, so we headed there afterwards for lunch. The view from the outdoor seating looked tempting. I imagine it would be lovely to sit there in spring or early summer. I'm going to sign off the video here. Thank you so much for spending this short trip with me. I hope you enjoyed it and were able to catch a glimpse of Kyoto through my eyes.